Okay, hello. So I haven't done one of these kinds of videos in a while. I've only ever done one actually, but we're gonna give this one a try. So this is a book I've had from the library for about 3 weeks now. I've been trying to work my way through it. It didn't go very well. I've read quite a few Grady Hendrix books previously. My favorite was definitely the horror store, the one that's at the IKEA, possibly just because I have previously worked in a big box store and worked retail for most of my adult life, so that one kind of hit home. And everything with the panopticon was very interesting, I thought, and that was the kind of Grady Hendrix that I was really into. Everything since then I haven't really been a huge fan of, and this one I think kind of has a lot of the problems that I find in a lot of his other books. I do kind of find it odd that he always has like female protagonists. It's nice, I guess, but it just seems kind of strange that he's never done a male protagonist. This book is about pregnant teenagers, and all of the main characters are in fact pregnant teenagers who are put in a home in the 80s or 60s maybe. I guess I didn't really pay attention. I tried to figure out which time period this was in, and then I kind of just like stopped caring, but I'm pretty sure it's like the 60s or so, or 70s maybe. Anyway, he does often go to that time period, like My Best Friend's Exorcism is from that time. Well, I guess maybe that's the only one, but anyway, this one is also time period. I didn't really get to the part where there's witches. You can see right here, this is me doing my tabs. This is me attempting to figure out what I want to be doing with the tabbing, and if I wanted to even read the book seriously. And you can see it definitely petered out. These last ones are really just from me skimming through the book and finding a passage that looked like maybe something interesting was happening there. And I used the tabbing system I developed at this point with the colors there. So I did have a tabbing system planned, but it took me a while to get there. So you can see all of the tabs in the first chapter here, and this is pretty much chapter 1, are all the ugly yellow one that I don't really like very much, and I use that as sort of my beginning because I have a lot left over of this color because I don't use it very often. And I have these colored tabs that are just regular Post-its. I have 10 different colors of these. I don't think I've ever used all 10 colors for one book, but I have options. And so what happened here is I started off, one thing I do like about Grady Hendrix is there's a lot of detail. Like, he gives us a lot of world building, a lot of things to indicate what this book is going to focus on really early on. So that's what all of these are. Like, you can see this one's pop culture, confession magazines. Oh, like that was just me sort of commenting on the time period again and how things have changed over time. I think these still exist, but it's not something that a teenager would probably know unless they were coming from a particularly religious household. What does this say? Drama. Oh, like she's in the drama club, and that does become important later on, I think. And that she's Catholic. So we're just getting all of these details about our main character and the world that she lives in and the things that she's paying attention to. And it's really dense, this first chapter. Like, I do think that this is a really good example of showing, not telling, right? Or telling, not showing, I guess I should say. He's giving us a lot of information here about what this book is interested in. And even after reading this, I wasn't particularly involved, and I didn't really think that I wanted to read this book. And then that obviously became true because I did try, and you can see here. So later on, as we keep going, we get to chapter 2. At this point, I did say that my blue tabs are going to be for pop references. I think what blue ended up being is more like details that are important, are like real world things that exist outside of the book. And they're things that point to the time period and our particular characters and who they like, who we can relate them to in the world that we actually live in. And then when I got to the green, this is just like general details, and that was something I wanted to focus on because most of these early tabs probably would have been green if I had gone back to change the colors according to the tabbing system I came up with by chapter 2. And you can see I just say bra strap detail, green for detail. So let's see, where did I? He stomped up the brick steps onto the porch because she didn't know what else to do. Yeah, here we go. Bra straps sticking out the side and bouncing with every step like it was real jazz to be here. Like, this is the kind of detail that I just kind of think Hendrix is really good at. I don't think that you could read a lot into that. And I think I could write an essay about that sentence if I wanted to. I don't, because I didn't like the book that much. But yeah, that sentence, a bra strap sticking out the side and bouncing with every step like it was real jazz to be here. That is a very interesting sentence, and it's one that caught my attention. So at this point, I knew that green was just for like Grady Hendrix details, basically. And details that are important to the world of the book, to the characters in the book, details that give us more information about what Grady Hendrix thinks is important for his characters. And then pink is almost always just stuff that I like, or think is like good writing or an interesting idea that's being explored. I'm not really sure what I liked about this, though. A surge of hope. The blonde pulled her head back over the railing, and they heard the slap of a screen door, and she was gone. I don't know what I liked about this. So that probably shouldn't be there. I guess we'll just get rid of that. And that happens a lot when I'm tabbing and I'm going through the book, is I'll suddenly realize I really don't actually care about that particular detail. And if I am going through and taking notes on what I put tabs on, I will often not include that in the list. So yeah, I don't want to go through every one of these. I am going to go back through the book. Yellow ended up being just about particular character traits for the characters. Any sign of authority. So I wrote character here. That's what that says. I know you can't really read it, but that says character. And this says any sign of authority, which is what her dad is. So like, I actually do think that's an important detail. It's something that kind of reflects the themes of the book as well. And it tells us something about her, that her father is that kind of a person. So I think it's important. Okay, and then if we keep going, I start using these pale orange tabs. I remember really struggling with figuring out what I was doing with this. Basically, this ended up being about Neva, the main character. Sorry, I just realized that's not done right. This orange one here. So this is just about Neva, the main character. Yeah, well, actually, I guess at this point I did this incorrectly because that should probably have been yellow. I think I was still trying to figure out what thing I wanted to use there. So let's see. These are just about character traits. We get a lot of interesting character traits in this second chapter when we're being introduced to all the different girls in the house. So it was something that I was kind of keeping track of. Let's see, maybe this pink one is a little bit better. Oh yeah, I mean, that's just like very visual. It's very, it gives us this cinematic aspect, but it also, it's paying attention to all the senses. And this is how we know, like, she got pregnant. She was having sex. And I think that that's a really good way of doing it. I don't know that I would have put a pink tab here, except that I wasn't really liking this book very much. And I was just like, I mean, I kind of like that. So I think I was just desperate for something that I actually enjoyed at that point. And then this I actually did like. She looked like a piece of office equipment. I think that's just a really good description, and that is very much like the Grady Hendrix kind of thing that I think he can be really good at. Yeah, I think I did start. Stomach, it looked like it was going to explode. I don't know what I thought the orange was at this point. Clearly, it is not about Neva. So I don't remember. I wish I did. But yeah, I definitely need to rethink some of those if I go through here and remove these tabs. So we talked about the blue, we talked about the pink, we talked about the yellow and the orange. The only one that we haven't talked about is purple. Purple I almost always use. I like purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. So purple is a theme, something that's really important about the book. Like that, the purple is like, this is the idea that the author really wants to focus on. So it like needs to be separated out from the other green ones, from the other blue ones, from the pink ones. Like I need to be like, this is the thing. If you're going to come back to anything, you're going to come back to this. If I was actually highlighting the book, these are the ones that I would actually highlight. So and this is it, if you could control yourself, you wouldn't be here. And that's clearly something that the book is interested in. It's this question of personal responsibility and the ability to control myself. And you can see this chapter, suddenly we get quite a lot of stuff. This means that I skipped here because this is where I clearly like kind of stopped paying attention and I was just like skipping through the book. Yeah, here's another one. Like I just randomly skipped to this page. Clearly I went to the next page. These are all outside details. Let's see. Pepto-Bismol waterfall is probably what I was paying attention to there. Honestly, I don't know. And then, yeah, so this is supposed to be the details. And I think this is important. Like if you know the story, the yellow wallpaper, I think this kind of talks about what the house that they're in is like. Yeah. And then, so finally, I just started skipping through at this point. You can see, look how dense it is up here. I was actually paying attention. I was trying really hard. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. It seems really repetitive. It seems like we're just going over the same stuff. So I just started skipping. And that's what these tabs are too, is just me skipping through. And any of these, I didn't like read anything in between here. So, but here we've got some purples, and maybe a witch means you go to hell, but I don't mind if it means I don't have to go home. Like this is when they first discover the witch, that they meet, and I think there's a bunch of stuff that happens later with the witch, but honestly, I don't know. But this was a good spot to come to. So this is in chapter 14. Apparently that's a good place to skip to. And then I just have a couple of other things that I took notice. This just reminded me of the thing that they say in Hocus Pocus, which I guess that should be blue, actually. I think I forgot what color it was supposed to be. But this reminded me of that like chant that they do in the Hocus Pocus movies, in the I Put a Spell on You song. So that's what that reminded me of. And I'll do that with tabs a lot. I'll write a note on there that says, okay, this is why I tabbed this. And then I skipped up to here. Nothing happened. It kept her out. So like at this point, I don't even know what's happening in the story here. But I gave it a shot. I don't know. So, but that it kind of shows you my process of like when I pick up a book and like how I'm thinking about tabbing it, what I'm going to be doing while I read. This one was not a good choice to do this with, clearly, but yeah, I gave it a shot. If you did enjoy this book, I would be really curious to see what you liked about it. So if you want to comment and maybe give me a reason to keep trying with this one, I would actually kind of appreciate that, because I do sort of like Grady Hendrix, and if this does anything like what Horror Store does at any point, I would really like to know that. I did not like My Best Friend's Exorcism as much, and the other books I've read by him would be The Final Girls Club, which was fine, but it was a little too intertextual, a little too dependent on recalling previous pop culture that I don't actually have much of a connection with. And I did like, well, I didn't actually like the How to Sell a Haunted House. That one felt a little too don't know. I did enjoy the Vampire Club, the Southern Book Club Vampire. You know what I'm talking about. I'll have to look that one up. I enjoyed that one. I thought that one was good. So right now, I guess my top Grady Hendrix books would be Horror Store for sure. Definitely read that one. It takes like 2 hours, like 3-4 hours to read. You can read it in an afternoon. And the Southern Ladies Book Club, Vampire Hunters, whatever it is, that one. And that's pretty much it, actually, because I didn't really like any of the others. So yeah. All right, well, yeah, let me know in the comments if that is something that I should give more time to, if there's something that happens cool later on, especially if the witch ends up being really cool. I would like to know that. All right. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.